Hey YouTube, welcome to my channel. I thought it would be fun to talk about kale today. This is specifically a red Russian kale, and they're a pretty hardy plant. The main thing that you have to worry about these is pests, because there's a white kind of butterfly, or I think it's called a cabbage moth or cabbage butterfly, I don't know, but it comes and it lays its eggs on your plant, and the eggs will hatch into little green caterpillars or worms, and they're ferocious. Those little caterpillars are ferocious eaters. They will destroy your kale in no time at all. And also there's a kind of and it's also another common garden pest that, I guess for this area, is and I'm in zone 6A, so, but is it's kind of like a stink bug looking bug that has black and it's white and it has yellow on it, and maybe even some orange on it, and I'm not sure what it's called, but it is a common garden pest that you can find, especially on brassicas. But I like the red Russian kale, mostly because it's just got a very pretty color to it, and it does keep that color, well, some of the color, up into adulthood. So it's just a pretty plant. Now, going back to the caterpillars and the bugs, I don't use any chemicals or anything, so sometimes, when you harvest, you have little holes, but you just give it a good rinse and wash off, and how I kind of deter them is I come out and I pick them off. I only have like about 5 different brassica plants that I have, so I just come out I come out to the garden every day, and I just come out and I'll kind of look at them and check it out, and if there's anything weird on it, I just pick it off, and smash it, or the poor bugs, but that's what you have to do, because they will destroy your plant in no time at all. But yeah, I usually freeze it because it freezes really well. This year I'm going to probably plant some in the fall so that I can harvest over the winter fresh, but I normally do just grow it in the spring and summer and harvest over the summer and then freeze it. But this year I'm probably going to try to do a little differently. I also wanted to note that, and this is some stems that I've frozen. Now, the stems are edible. You can eat these, and the way that I always separate the stem from the leaves and freeze them separately, because the stems will cook at a different rate than the leaves do, of course. But how I cook my stems is I put it in water, or I've put it in a roast before. It imparts just a wonderful, wonderful flavor. But I put it in water usually, and I treat it kind of as like a side for a green bean or a vegetable side, like a green bean. But I put it in water and with butter, and usually I do put a little beef bouillon in with it. Makes I don't know, it just makes it flavor pretty good. These actually already have a pretty meaty flavor to them, so I think that's probably a good way to explain the flavor of this plant. It has a meaty flavor. So, but yeah, kale is supposed to be a superfood. It's supposed to be really good for you. So, and it is one of my favorite vegetables to have, mostly because it just freezes so well and it's so easy. But Usually how I do it is I strip the leaves off of the stem, and this is just a part of a stem, and then I'll cut the stem into like inch long pieces, basically, and then freeze them separately from the leaves. But that's how I usually do that. You can eat kale raw. You can, you know, have kale salad, make a kale wrap, like a wrap for things if you're, you know, don't have gluten or aren't good with gluten. But I mean, this plant has so many different uses, and it really does have a wonderful flavor to it. Another thing I've done with it is kale chips, where I just dehydrate it and put very little olive oil on it, and I put it in the oven at like 200 degrees for a little while. For, I don't know, probably a half hour, and it gets really crispy, and I don't know, just it's really good. And I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but there's all kinds of kale. There's red Russian kale, which is this. There's dinosaur kale, and there's curly kale. But, you know, and that's all that I know of, but I'm sure that there are maybe more different kinds of kale. Yeah, I think that's all that I really have to say about it. I just wanted to kind of show you what I have going on here. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I started these indoors in January and grew them indoors for about 4 weeks, and they became really leggy, which drove me nuts. So I'm like, well, I'm just gonna go plant them out as an experiment to see what happens, because I know that kale is cold hardy. But yeah, I planted them out, and they've survived temperatures in the teens and maybe even single digits. So, but I live in zone 6A, so we have pretty cold winters around here. And yeah, but anyways, I think that's all that I have to say. If you have any questions or comments, please do so. Yeah, like and subscribe, and I appreciate you guys watching. Thanks, bye.